In today's video, I'm exposing 5 nutrition scams that help you lose pounds from your wallet but do absolutely nothing for your health. And if we haven't met before, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian who hates seeing people waste hard-earned money on useless products, especially today when healthy eating is already so expensive. Wellness does not need to come with a price tag, so without further ado, let's get straight in. So I'm going to start off spicy and let you in on a little secret. I've been in the online space for almost 2 years now, and one of the most profitable affiliate or sponsorship schemes for any health or wellness influencer to join is Element. Yes, Element, the electrolyte powders that even some dietitians, not me, have been promoting. And in my very honest opinion, this is not just bad form, it's irresponsible. Now, if you're expecting me to say that electrolytes are useless, that is not true. But what social media experts conveniently let out whilst pushing their affiliate codes is that most people do not need these at all. Electrolytes are minerals that we get from food. Anything with salt gives you sodium and chloride. Potassium is in loads of everyday foods. Bananas, coconut water, leafy greens, milk. And according to the dietary guidelines for Americans, there are only 2 minerals where people commonly fall short: calcium and potassium. But what is the main ingredient in products like Element? It's sodium. Each packet contains 1000 milligrams of sodium. That is about 2.5 grams or half a teaspoon of salt. Now, the latest trend on social media is claiming that salt has been unfairly demonized. And yeah, for sure, some people, a little bit of extra salt isn't something that I would worry about. Some people are less salt sensitive. However, most people, the general public, are not in this situation. Most of us are not extreme athletes who are sweating out loads of sodium every day. Most people are consuming too many processed foods and already not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So most people need to limit their salt intake, not add more. And why this bugs me almost personally is because I work primarily with women, and YouTube tells me that 90% of my viewership is women. And did you know that women are 6 times more likely to die from cardiovascular disease than they are to die from breast cancer? And in women, cardiovascular disease is under-researched, under-diagnosed and under-treated. And high blood pressure is one of the biggest risk factors for a stroke. And excess salt is a risk factor for high blood pressure. And living in a world where most people are struggling to eat healthy, adding salt sachets in their morning routine is not something that they should be doing, period. And this isn't just the company Element. There are so many electrolyte companies on the market now. And I saw one recently that recommended that you should be having 3 sachets a day. Who recommended that? I don't know. But that's what they had on the back of their pack. So irresponsible in my opinion. Now, I know some people are going to say that they take electrolytes and they feel that they genuinely feel better. So if you're using them, my goal here isn't to make you feel bad, but I just really want you to make sure that you actually need them. Check your cardiovascular health. Check where your blood pressure currently stands. And don't just be taking them because they taste nice or because every influencer on the internet says you need them as part of your morning routine. And the issue here is that 1 in 2 people with high blood pressure don't even know that they have it. I know what my blood pressure typically is. Do you? Comment below. I would actually be really interested to know how many people know what their blood pressure typically is. Now, electrolytes, they do have their place. And I sometimes use them in a hospital situation when I'm working with clients that have really high output stomas or extreme diarrhea because they have something like C. diff. And if you exercise a lot in a hot climate and you are dripping with sweat, and I mean dripping, yes, they can be handy in this situation. But just remember that a balanced diet is also a great way to get in your electrolytes, amidst many other benefits. And many of these brands also have added sugars and added sweeteners, which you're not going to get if you're getting some of your electrolytes in from normal food. And just to put this into context, Element costs around $45 for a 30-day supply. That is over $500 a year for minerals that you could be getting from food. Now let's look at probiotics, and I am very pro anything that we can be doing to support our gut health. The gut is connected to pretty much every system in our body, but clever marketing has really taken advantage when it comes to probiotics. So just in case you were not up to speed, we all have bacteria living in our gut. Some good, some not so good. And ideally, we want a higher proportion of the good guys. And probiotics are live, good microorganisms that you typically take in a pill form that can support our health when taken in the right strain, at the right dose for the right amount of time. Here's the easiest way to think about it. If I had a client come to me and they had low vitamin D, I'm not going to go tell them to go take an iron supplement. Iron is not going to fix the low vitamin D. So you need the right supplement for the right problem. And it is the exact same with probiotics. And there is strong evidence that specific probiotic strains help specific conditions like IBS, IBD, constipation, or after you've taken a course of antibiotics. But here is the problem. Most probiotic supplements on the shelf are not targeted. They're not telling you what they treat or whether the bacteria inside can actually survive and make it to your gut. And the marketing makes it sound like everyone should take them just in case. But the truth is, for the average healthy person, there is no current evidence that taking a daily probiotic is necessary. Research is still in its early days. We are learning a lot, but we're not there yet. So yes, probiotics can be helpful in the right situation, but don't waste money on a random product unless you know the exact strain that supports your specific concern. Again, think of it like this. There are thousands of different types of probiotics, kind of like there are thousands of dog breeds. However, a golden retriever and a chihuahua, although they are both dogs, they are very, very different. Same thing with probiotic. A lactobacillus for IBS is completely different to a bifidobacterium for constipation. Now, if you do want to take one, I have 3 steps that I recommend that you follow. Number 1 is know your why. Are you taking it for bloating or for constipation or for IBS? Different strains help with different things. Number 2, match the strain with the problem, just like you need the right key for the right lock. Number 3, choose a brand that uses that strain that you need in an amount that will actually work. Now, I'm aware that this isn't actually that easy. So I have a cheat code for you. There are 3 websites: the US Probiotic Guide, the Canadian Probiotic Guide, and the UK Probiotic Guide. I will leave them all linked down below. But these are unbiased guides where you can go in and filter what exactly it is that you are looking for. And this will give you results for a product that has been shown to contain the strain that you need for your specific problem. Because there are some brands now that are just throwing in loads of bacteria and like trying to sell it by saying that we have 12 different strains. But more isn't always better, and that's not even necessarily good if like, what are those strains meant to be doing? And just to wrap up this point, you can and should focus on food first. Yogurt, kefir, and fermented foods like sauerkraut or kimchi. These are all natural probiotic sources, and they come with additional nutrients too. And remember, even the best probiotics will not thrive if your diet lacks fiber. So you want to be eating loads of plant foods like oats, beans, legumes, grains, nuts, and seeds. Next, I want to talk about artificial sweeteners. And I'll be honest, I spent hours going through the research and position statements on all of these, and to sum it all up, the evidence is quite mixed, kind of leaving me more confused than when I even started. But I'll give you my take on them because I believe that whether you should or shouldn't take them is actually different for everyone. So firstly, artificial sweeteners are sugar substitutes that provide sweetness with few to no calories. Examples include aspartame, sucralose, or stevia. And they're used in diet foods and beverages to reduce sugar intake and calories, though research on their long-term health effects, such as potential impacts on gut health or cardiovascular health, is ongoing. So my simple take on these is that if you are someone who drinks regular soda or regular fizzy drinks very frequently, like your Coke, your Fanta, so if you're drinking quite a lot of these, or if you add quite a lot of sugar to your tea and you drink 10 cups of tea a day, in this situation, then yes, I do think switching to an artificially sweetened Diet Coke or Coke Zero, or using something like Splenda or Canderel instead of the regular stuff is a good option here. Because this is still, although it's not perfect, it's still much better than the latter of drinking loads and loads of drinks with sugar, with spoons of sugar in them every single day. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't really consume these, I wouldn't be telling you that I think you should start consuming artificial sweeteners. I think it's great if you don't. If you don't need them and you can happily live without them, that's fine and good. And I think then when you do want something sweet, there is nothing wrong with having your regular sugar in small amounts. Go for the real stuff. Or if you're somebody like me who occasionally likes to have a Coke Zero when I go out for dinner, or I have a protein bar that has artificial sweeteners in it, I don't worry about this too much because I'm not eating them in huge amounts. But ideally, you don't want to be overdoing it if you can. And this is for many reasons. We're not too sure about their impact on the gut. You know, your gut microbiome, it changes in response to any change that you make to your diet. But whether this is positive or negative with the artificial sweeteners is unclear. But also research shows us that the more your taste buds are exposed to sweet flavors, the more your taste buds prefer them. And when we are being exposed to these really highly sweetened foods, we're not satisfied with the sweetness of something like an apple. But the good news is that our taste buds regenerate every 10 days or so. So you can either go cold turkey on sweeteners or take a gradual approach so you can undo this reliance. So after about 2 to 4 weeks, your taste buds will become more sweet sensitive again. And who knows, that apple might be able to satisfy that sweet craving. It's just about taking that time and understanding that that period, it might feel a bit like, oh, this doesn't taste very good, or I miss the sweet stuff. But rest assured, you'll start to get that sweetness back as your taste buds begin to adapt. Usually I try to get people, let's say they come to me and they're drinking tons of the regular soda or regular fizzy drinks. We try to swap to diet soda. Then after a few more weeks, we might try to change to something like sparkling water. And then maybe after a while, they'll try regular water, but it's gradual. And the World Health Organization and even the UK recently changed their guidance and their stance on artificial sweeteners. They don't recommend using them for weight management or for reducing things like type 2 diabetes. But then there are also these big literature reviews that do find that substituting sugary drinks or energy dense foods with artificially sweetened alternatives can improve weight and cardiometabolic health. So to be honest, I really do think it comes down to the individual. If you have a really extreme sweet tooth and you use a lot of sugar and you're finding it really hard to cut down, I do think it makes sense to try to gradually cut down using artificial sweeteners as a little bit of a stepping stone first. But if you're somebody who doesn't currently consume them, then I definitely don't think there's any need to start. There really is nothing wrong with a little bit of the real stuff, a little bit of honey, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of maple syrup when you're using it in moderation. And this nicely brings me on to my next point. So I just said there's nothing wrong with real sugar in small amounts. But the next scam on the internet right now is that the wellness industry has convinced people that some types of sugar are magically better than others. How many of you have seen wellness influencers or healthy recipe creators online promoting their delicious looking cookies and brownies with the tagline refined sugar free, implying that this somehow makes them magically better for you? Now, I like to always see the best in people, so I'm going to assume that a lot of them don't genuinely understand. But here's what you need to know. Just because something is refined sugar free does not mean that it's sugar free or suddenly blood sugar friendly. It's not a pass so you can go off and eat 6 of these cookies. The reality is that your body does not give you gold stars for swapping white sugar for honey or for date syrup. Sugar is still sugar. So honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, agave, date syrup, these will all raise your blood glucose levels. Some can even raise them faster. But people love making these swaps because then they're allowed to say on the recipe that it's refined sugar free, implying that it's healthy. But if you're managing high blood sugar, insulin resistance, PCOS, or trying to lower HbA1c, the total sugar matters more than what the type is. And regular sugar costs about €1 per kilo, while coconut sugar is around €4 for the same amount. And agave nectar can run for €6 to €7 for a small bottle. Now there are of course some cases where coconut sugar does work better in that specific recipe because of the texture, but I wouldn't be paying more for something thinking it's going to give you a health benefit when it's not. And I'm really not against sugar at all. I truly believe everything in moderation. I'm kind of just telling you that if you want to have a cookie, you're as well off having the real deal rather than spending money on these expensive coconut sugars and making that one that you saw on Instagram. And lastly, I want to talk about the huge array of supplements marketing themselves as nature's Ozempic. Basically, this is a trendy term, targeting those looking for a quick weight loss solution. But there is nothing that truly qualifies as a natural GLP-1 treatment that can help you lose weight. And I'm not going to make this point any longer than it needs to be. So quite simply, there is no food, herb, or magic supplement that can mimic the effects of a GLP-1 agonist medication like Ozempic or Wegovy or Mounjaro. So there we have it, 5 nutrition scams to leave behind this year. Any questions about today's topic, just comment below. Or if you have a request for a future video, you can let that down below too. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you would like to watch this one next. As always, thank you very much for watching. Stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.